Did you have any question? Any question? We're studying chapter 7. Okay, so chapter 7. Let's start from 7.1 section 7.1. So this is the domain of rational expression. Domain of rational expression. So a rational expression, so you can still find the notes folder. So a rational expression is an expression of the form P all over Q, where these are the polynomials. So they are the polynomials. So where this Q is not equals to 0. So the Q is not equals to 0. If Q is equals to 0, now if Q equals to 0, then you will get P all over Q. And this Q equals to 0, so it should be P all over 0. And this one is what? Undefined. That is undefined. So you cannot define that. So anything all over 0 is undefined. Example number 1. Determine the values of which the rational expression 3x squared plus 14x plus 2 all over x plus 1 is undefined. Determine the values for which the rational expression 3x squared plus 14x plus 2 is undefined. So P is 3x squared plus 14x plus 2. Then Q is equals to what? X plus what? X plus 1. So it said if for an expression to be undefined, then Q should be equals to what? 0. Then Q should be equals to 0. Now, for Q to be equals to 0, so what are the values? What will you put there for that Q to be equals to 0? So that means you equate the what? The denominator to be equals to what? 0. So it will be x plus 1 equals to 0. So then x would be equals to what? Negative what? Negative 1. So x equals to negative 1. So when we come and replace this negative 1 here, then it will be what? The expression will be undefined. So the expression would be undefined. Example number 2. Determine the values for which the rational expression, so we have another expression there. So maybe I can write it. So you're given an expression like this: 3x squared plus 14x plus 2 all over x plus 1 and then x minus 2. Determine the values for which the rational expression, this one, is undefined. Determine the values for which this expression will be undefined. So we say to be undefined, then q should be equal to what? 0. So what are the values here that will make this expression to be undefined? So that means we equate this one to what? To 0. So x plus 1, x minus 2 is equals to 0. So using the 0 product property, then x plus 1 equals to 0 or x minus 2 equals to 0. So then x is equals to minus 1 or x equals to what? Equals to 2. So for this expression to be undefined, then x can be equals to what? -1 or x can be equals to 2. Because if you replace here this x minus 1 here, then what do you get? So you get -1 plus 1, which is what? 0, right? 0 times this x minus 2 is what? Is 0, right? Then when x is 2 here, then what do you get? You get 2 minus what? 2. When you multiply everywhere here by, so here is 0, then here x is 2, so this is 2 plus 1, so you get a value there which is 3. 3 times 0 will be 0, so you get a 0. So the values which can make this equation, is this expression to be undefined are these. So x and 2. I know when you will be doing your homework, they will ask you to write by putting the comma there. So you can write, if you get x to be -1 and 2, so you just slot in -1 and then comma 2 there. Okay, another one. Determine the values for which the rational expression a plus a all over 3q squared minus q minus 14. Determine the values for which the rational expression, this one, is undefined. Determine the values for which this expression will be undefined. So also we say to be undefined, then this should be equal to what? 0. So 3q squared minus 14 equals to 0. Then we look for the values of q. So this is a quadratic equation. So you can use what method? So you can use the AC method. Huh? So the product is So the product is 14 times what? Times 3, right? So the AC equals to, what is 14 times 3? Is it 42? And then, so negative what? 42. And what is B? B is equals to what? Negative 1, right? So what are the two numbers in which the product is 42 and negative 42 and the sum is minus 1?
Negative 76.
Okay, so negative 7 and, so we have 7 and 6. So which one will be minus there? So it will be, the minus will be what? The bigger, right? So here, what do you get? So you get 3q squared minus 7q plus 6 minus 14 equals to what? Equals to 0. Then you now factor out the terms which are common. So here, q, and then 3 minus 7, and then plus, this is what? 2, right? And then 3q minus 7 equals to 0. Equals to 0. Then you factor out the common factor there. So we have 3q minus 7, and then q plus 2 equals to what? Equals to 0. So we have factorized this. So therefore, this expression will now be like 8q plus 8 all over what? 3q minus 7, and then q plus what? Plus 2. So that is the expression. The expression will be like that. Now, which values will give us undefined? So now you equate these ones to what? 0, right? So therefore, the one which will be undefined will now be 3q minus 7 equals to 0, or q plus 2 equals to what? Equals to 0. So for this expression to be undefined, then q should be equals to what? It's 7 over 3, or what? Or q equals to minus 2. Are we together there? Am I going very fast? All right, so you simplify the expression, the denominator there, so you get this. And then for this expression to be undefined, then this should be equals to 0. So they should be equals to 0. So when you equate this to be equals to 0, and using the 0 product property, then 3q minus 7 equals to 0, or q plus 2 equals to 0. So q equals to 7 over 3, or q equals to minus 2. So when you replace each one of them here, then it will give us the undefined expression. Okay. Another example, 10w minus 5 all over 2w squared plus 11w plus 5. Now, for this expression to be undefined, then the denominator should be equals to 0. The denominator should be equal to 0. So 2w squared plus 11 third one plus 5 equals to 0. Then now you factorize. So you can use the AC method. So the product which is AC, equals to what? Equals to 10. And then the sum, which is B, equals to 11. So what are the two numbers in which the product is 10 and the sum is 11? 10 and 1. So we have 10 and 1. So here it will be plus 10 plus 5 equals to 0. So when you factor out 2W there, then what do you get? Then plus, when you factor out 1, then equals to 0. So when you factor out the common factor there, which is, and then what remains there is that one, and then this is equals to. Now using the zero product property, then equals to 0 or equals to what? Equals to 0. 2W plus 1 equals to 0. So for this to be undefined, then W should be equals to minus 5 or W should be equals to minus 1 over 2. So the only issue here is knowing how to factorize the denominator there. Then you use the zero product property to get the values of the factors there that can make that expression to be undefined. So I have another example here. So you have minus 11x plus 1 all over minus 30x squared minus 25x plus 5. So determine the values for which the rational expression is undefined. Determine the values for which the rational expression is undefined. So you equate the denominator to 0, so you get minus 30x squared minus 25x plus 5 equals to 0. So what do you do next? You get what? The greatest common factor. So what is our greatest common factor?
-5.
So you can put out negative what? 5. So when you factorize this, then what do you get? Huh? 6 what? X squared, right? Then minus, so plus here, right? So plus 5x. And then here will be what? Minus 1. Equals to what? 0. So because this is equals to 0, then you can remove the what? The minus 5 there. So minus 5 equals to 0. And this one is also equals to 0. Okay? So using the zero product property, so this can be cancelled with, can cancel out. So what you remain with is 6x squared plus 5x minus 1 equals to what? Equals to 0. And then now you use the AC method. So the product, which is the AC, equals to minus what? Minus 6. And then B equals to what? Equals to 5. So what are the two numbers in which the product is minus 6 and the sum is 5? So if you use 3 and 2, will you get, because here you need 1 to be what? Negative. So will you get minus 5? Will you get 5? No, right? So you need to use 6 and 1. 6 and 1. So if you use 6 and 1, okay? So which one will be bigger? So which one would be negative? 1. So 1 would be negative there. So now it will be 6x squared minus 6 plus 6x minus x minus 1 equals to 0. So you factor out 6x. So what do you get? X plus 1. You factor out minus 1. X plus 1 equals to 0. So you factor out the common factor there, 6x plus 1, and then 6x minus 1 equals to 0. So using the zero product property, so x equals to minus 1, or x equals to 1 over what? 1 over 6. So that if you come and replace minus 1 over there, it will give you 0. If you replace 1 over 6 there, it will give you 0. And the expression will be undefined. The expression will be undefined. Okay, so there is another example there, so you can go and look at it. Now, let's come to section 7.4. Section 7.4. So section 7.4. So section 7.4 is rewriting rational equations. So rewriting rational equations. So 7.1, we were dealing with rational expressions. So rational expressions is where we don't have the equal sign. So rational equation is where we now have the equal sign. So P all over Q should be equal to something here, maybe equals to 0. So this will be the equation. But P, so this is the equation. So P all over Q is the what? Is the expression. So that one is just the expression. Now, how do we solve the rational equations? How do we solve the rational equations? For example, if you have an example here, solve x all over 5 plus 2x all over 10 equals to 8 all over 5. Now, solve that. So how do we solve the rational? So this is rational because we have P over Q here, P over Q here, P over Q here. So those are the rational. And then we have the equal sign there. So it becomes the rational equation. So how do we solve that rational equation? So what do you do to remove the rationals there? So that means how do we get the value of x? So here we multiply by what? We need to remove the denominator, right? So to remove the denominator first, we look for either the LCM of this and we multiply by it to remove the what? The least common factor there, to remove the denominator there. So what is our least common factor over there? Have you ever done least common factors? I think maybe you've done it. So the least common factor here will be what? 10. So what you do here, you multiply one side by 10. What you've done on the left, you do it at the what? To the right. You also multiply that by 10. And then you open the brackets. So when you open the brackets, so it's like you're multiplying, because this one is addition, it's like you're multiplying each one of them by 10. So this is the same as multiplying 10 by x over 5, and also multiplying 10 by 2x all over 10 there, equals to 8 over 5 times what? Okay? So now we remove the denominator there. So this will cancel with that, you get 2. This will cancel with that, and then this one with that, you get what? 2 there. So what is remaining here? So 2x plus what? Plus 2x equals to what? Equals to 16. So 2x plus 2x equals to what? 4x equals to what? 16. So x will now be equals to 4. X is equals to 4. So that's how to solve the rational expression. Another one, if you have another example there, maybe 5 equals to x all over 4 minus plus y. So okay, you still remember when we were studying the course? When you're told you've given this one and then you're told to solve this. So solve. Let me write it afresh. So solve 5 equals to x all over 4 plus y for y. So what do you do there? Solve this one for y. That means we want to take y to one side, and then we take the other values to the other side. That's what we did in the past. I think it was the first day or the second. So solve for y here. So this is like rewriting in form of y. So how should we rewrite that one in form of y? What should we do? So like what we did in the first one there, then what we do here, we have 5 equals to x all over 4 plus y. Then we want to make y the subject here. Therefore, what we do here, we multiply everywhere by what? 4 plus what? 1. So what you've done in the other side, you do it in this side. So 4 plus what? Plus y. So this will cancel with that. You get 1. Okay, so what remains here is when you open this bracket here, then it will be 20 plus what? 5y equals to what? Equals to x. Okay? Because you cancel this one and this, you get 1. So x will remain there. Now you open these brackets, so 20x, 20 plus 5y. Then to put y in one side, what do you do to these other ones? You take them to the other side. So you take this 20 to the other side. So what remains is 5y equals to x minus what? Minus 20. Now we want to only have y, sorry. So what will remain? What do you do here? You divide by what? 5. So finally, y equals to x all over 5 minus what? Minus 4. X all over 5. Or you can just leave it like this. Y equals to x minus 20 all over 5. Okay. Another one here, solve r equals to s all over 3 minus t whole. So r equals s all over 3 minus t 4t. So that means we want to make t the what? The subject. So we want to make this one the subject. So what do you do to the rational on your right? So here r equals to what? S all over 3 minus t. So we want to take this to the other side. So therefore, we multiply everywhere by 3 minus t. Also here, 3 minus t there. So what you get is 3 minus t, and then r equals to, because this will cancel with that, then equals to what? Equals to s. And then we open this bracket here. So when we open these brackets here, then we get 3r minus tr equals to what? Equals to s. So we want to make t the subject. That means we need to take the other ones to the other side. So what do? You take this first, the other side. So minus tr equals to s minus what? Minus 3r. So when you take this to the other side, then this is plus. When you take it here, then it becomes the minus. Then what do you do here? You want to make t the subject. You divide by what? Negative what? R. So you divide everywhere by negative r, and then all this by negative r. So finally, what you get is this will cancel with that, become positive, then this and that. So t equals to s minus 3r all over r. So we can simplify that again. Because this negative, you can operate it at the top here, then finally, what will it be? So it will be t equals to 3r minus what? Minus s all over what? All over r. Okay? Because this will be minus s plus what? 3r. So it will be 3r minus s. Okay? Is it clear? Or finally, this will be what? T equals to 3 minus what? S over r. Because you divide 3 over r, s over r. So r and r would go, and then what will remain is s over r. Another example. Solve 1 all over p plus 2 all over q equals to 4 for p. Solve 1 over p plus 2 over q equals to 4 for p. So we want to make p the subject. So we want to make p the subject. So how should we make p the subject? So first of all, the first step, you can take these ones to the other side. Okay. So 1 all over p plus 2 all over q minus 2 all over q equals to 4 minus 1. So 1 all over p equals to 4 minus 2 over 1. So that's the first step. Now we want to make p the subject. So this is a rational. So we want to make just p to be equal to something. So how will we make p to be equal to something? We do what? Yeah. So here you can multiply everywhere by p here, this one by p, and then you divide by what? 4 minus 2 all over q, then divide by 4 minus 2 all over q. Okay? So when you multiply this, that will be 1. And then this, because you're dividing, be that. So what remains is 1 all over 4 minus 2 all over q equals to what? Equals to. Okay? Or because you were just doing, it was like this. So this thing is like p, 1 over p equals to 4 minus 2 all over q, right? So we want to make p the subject. So basically, you can bring the denominator up here. What you do here, you do it at the other side. So here it will be, when you take this one up, then it will be p over 1, right? Equals to, when you take this one, what do you do to this one? Because this one is 1 over 1. You take it down and then you bring 1 up. So it will be 1 over 4 minus 2 all over q. So finally, what you get is p equals to 1 over 4 minus 2 over q. So you can still simplify again this, or you can just leave it like this. I don't see any issue here. So if you have a lot of time to do it, then you can simplify that. But to avoid a lot of errors, then you can leave it like that. Okay? All right. So
How you simplify that?
you can still simplify that.
Yeah, how you would.
You want to know how to do it?
I would like to do that.
All right. So here we have 1 all over. We can simplify it from here. First of all, it is what? It is 1 all over p equals to 4 minus 2 all over q, right? So how should we simplify it? So we can write this in this form. So the LCM of this one is what? Q, right? So this, and there is 1 there. So this divided by this is what? Q. So you get 4q minus this, and this is what? Is 1, and then 2 there. So what do you get? 1 all over p equals to 4q minus 2 all over q. Now, say you want to make the what? P the what? The subject. So what do? You take this one up. You also take this one up and bring this one down. So finally, it will be P equals to Q all over what? Or Q minus 2. So that one is a simplification of it. So taking Q again. Is it simple? Is it simple like that? Oh, you can just leave it the way it is up here, or you can simplify it from here. Did you understand here? Okay, let me repeat it. So we had 1 all over P equals to 4 minus 2 all over Q, right? Now, here we have 4 all over 1. Okay? So we can simplify this. So we get the LCM of this, so which is Q here. So this and this will be Q. What do you do here? You multiply. So 4Q minus this and this is 1, right? You divide. So 1 times 2 is 2. So 1 all over P equals to 4Q minus 2 all over what? All over Q. Okay? So we want to make P the subject. So what do? Okay. You take this one up, you bring this one down. You also take this one up, down, you take this one up. Okay? So it will be P all over 1 equals to Q all over 1 for Q minus 2. Okay? So finally, this is P equals to Q all over 1 for Q minus 2. We have made P the subject. Okay, so let's do the last one in the next 1 minute. So you have this one is so long. So you can be given solve n all over n plus 2 minus 3 equals to 8 all over n square minus 4. Solve that. So, okay, so we need to look for LCM for the all of it so that we can multiply by it to move the denominator. So here, I can see this as what? What is this? Yeah. So difference of squares, right? So n square minus 4 is the same as n minus 2, n plus what? 2, right? So therefore, this will be the what? The LCM. So you multiply everywhere by n minus 2, n plus 2. So now, n minus 2, n plus 2, you multiply by n over n plus 2 minus 3 equals to 8 all over n square minus 4, n plus 2, n minus 2. Okay? So definitely this will cancel with that, right? Because they are the same. Okay? Then here, when you open these brackets, so because we multiply, this is subtraction. So when you open these brackets, so definitely this will cancel with that. the n plus 2 will cancel with n plus 2 there. So what you remain with is n minus 2 times what? Times n. Then again, you multiply this. So minus 3 n minus 2 n plus 2 is equals to what? Equals to 8. Is equals to 8. So when you open these brackets, then this is n squared minus 2n minus. So this is n minus 2n plus 2, which was what? N squared minus what? Minus 4. So this is 3n squared minus 4 equals to 8. Okay? So n squared minus 2n minus, you open these brackets, minus 3n squared plus, you open these brackets, 12 equals to 8. So this and this will be what? Minus 2n squared. Is there any other n? Minus 2n. And then you bring the h here. So minus plus 4 equals to what? Equals to 0. Okay? Then what is the LCM there? What is the greatest common factor there? Minus what? Minus 2. So n squared plus n minus 2 equals to 0. Then you need to solve this now. So you solve n plus 2, n minus 2 equals to 0. So the product is minus 2 and the sum is 1. So what are the two numbers? So you get the numbers there, and then you solve it. So we'll still redo it on next, when is today? Today is Friday, so we'll still do it on Monday. So let me call out the names here. Do we have Gregory here? Ashley? Victoria? You're Bailey, right? Laura? Adam? Kavehi? Andrew? Destiny? Paul? Paul? Abby? Aliyah? Aldo? Rachel Malone? Jillian? Remington? Meaton? Rayleigh? Kayla? Relay? Rock? So the other ones, I think I know your names. So when you don't want to come to class, just let me know if you don't want to come to class or you have an issue why you don't want to come to class, then we will sort it out. But you don't have to miss a class. This is an in class, right? So you're supposed to always be here unless you're sick. So when you're sick, just let me know you're sick. And then I'll tell you to use the link, or I can send you the Zoom link. Because if you don't attend the class, I think 2/3, right? You get an X. So if you don't come for the class for 2/3, I think 2/3 or something like that, you're given an X. So please try explain to me why you're missing class. right? So if you're sick, that one is normal. So you must stay at home when you're sick. All right, see you on Monday. Yeah, if you look at I think it's done. So the past exam will be your midterm.
The first exam
And
is
then you
already
still,
due.
because you're supposed to do how many exams? 3.
So the
So
first has to
there
be
is an
midterm.
there is an exam, I think the other week. And midterm which is next week, right?
Right.
So there is an exam the other week. So you still have like 3 exams. So the grade for midterm will be the past exam.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
I noticed, is there any way to see the lecture?
Yeah, there is. Are you able to access the YouTube?
I should be.
Yeah,
I
so
haven't
the
tried it.
lectures over there. So
Okay,
you can still find that there.
thank you.
All right. So
I just wanted to make sure my attendance was okay, because
yeah, you're someone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you.
I'm good. Well, and for like, since I hadn't been showing up on Wednesdays because of work, I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that was okay.
Yeah. I remember you on very well.
Okay, and so with not showing up on like Wednesdays,
Yeah,
Is that
that's
still
fine.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have any issue with that. So long as you always attend maybe twice per week.
right? Yeah, no, I'm always here Monday and Friday. I just wanted to make sure that was.
Okay.
I
All right.
didn't want to, anything wrong with that.
All right. See you.
Have a good day.
You too.